A very blessed Christmas Day to you and those you love, from all of us at St. Michael and All Angels Anglican Church in Victoria, British Columbia. We are gathered this day in our outdoor worship space, which is on the traditional territories of the Coast Salish people and the Sartlip Nation, and we give thanks for them and for the journey of healing and reconciliation that they share with us. In our Anglican tradition, which is part of the Christian faith, the work of healing and reconciliation is one that begins in our coming to know Christ. On this day, we celebrate his birth, and we give thanks that wherever you are, you have come to spend some time with us. Our 2020 pandemic reality means that our Christmas celebrations this year are different, and in some ways strange, but also wondrous, as we experience God's love coming near to us in new and surprising ways. The story of the Nativity is one that has always included space for the strange and the wondrous. With joy, let us prepare our hearts and minds for worship. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the Word was light, and the light was the life of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. Holy and loving God, you stir in our hearts and bring joy to our lives. You stir in our minds and bring wisdom to our thoughts. You stir in the world and bring hope to our future. You came as a little child, stirring up our praises. So now we come to adore you with the angels, to bow with the shepherds, to kneel in wonder with the Magi, to ponder your mystery with Joseph, to love and cherish you with Mary. We come to you with humble hearts, full of joy, because you came first to us.
Today,
O Holy One, heavenly angels spoke to earthly shepherds, and eternity entered time in the child of Bethlehem. Through the telling of the Christmas story, let our temporal lives be caught up in the eternal in that same child, that we might join shepherds and all the heavenly host in praising the coming of Jesus Christ, our Savior and Lord. Amen. Let us listen for the word of God.
A reading from the book of Isaiah. The people who walked in darkness have seen a great light. Those who lived in a land of deep darkness, on them light has shined. You have multiplied the nation, you have increased its joy. They rejoice before you as with joy at the harvest, as people exult when dividing plunder. For the yoke of their burden and the bar across their shoulders, the rod of their oppressor, you have broken as on the day of Midian. For all the boots of the tramping warriors and all the garments rolled in blood shall be burned as fuel for the fire. For a child has been born for us, a son given to us. Authority rests on his shoulders, and he is named Wonderful, Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His authority shall grow continually, and there shall be endless peace for the throne of David. And his kingdom he will establish and uphold it with justice and with righteousness from this time onward and forevermore. The zeal of the Lord of hosts will do this. For the word of God in Scripture, for the word of God among us, for the word of God within us. Thanks be to God.
Sing to the Lord a new song. Sing to the Lord, all the whole earth. Sing to the Lord and bless God's name. Proclaim the good news of our salvation from day to day. Declare the glory of the Lord among the nations, and the wonders of God among all peoples. For great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised, more to be feared than all gods. As for all the gods of the nations, they are but idols. But it is you, O Lord, who made the heavens. O majesty and magnificence of your presence. O the power and the splendor of your sanctuary. Ascribe to the Lord, you families of the peoples. Ascribe to the Lord honor and power. Ascribe to the Lord the honor due the divine name. Bring offerings and come into the courts of the Lord. Worship the Lord in the beauty of holiness. Let the whole earth tremble before God. Tell it out among the nations. The Lord reigns. The Lord who made the world so firm that it cannot be moved will judge the peoples with equity. Let the heavens rejoice, and let the earth be glad. Let the sea thunder, and all that is in it. Let the field be joyful, and all that is therein. Then shall the trees of the wood shout for joy before the Lord who is coming to judge the earth. The Lord will judge the world with righteousness, and the peoples with truth.
A reading from Titus. For the grace of God has appeared, bringing salvation to all, training us to renounce impiety and worldly passions, and in the present age to live lives that are self-controlled, upright, and godly. He it is who gave himself for us, that must redeem us from all inequity and purify for himself a people of his own who are zealous for good deeds. For the word of God in Scripture, for the word of God among us, for the word of God within us, thanks be to God.
The Lord be with you. The Holy Gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ according to Luke. In those days, a decree went out from Emperor Augustus that all the world should be registered. This was the first registration and was taken while Quirinius was governor of Syria. all went to their own towns to be registered. Joseph also went from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea, to the city of David called Bethlehem, because he was descended from the house and family of David. He went to be registered with Mary, to whom he was engaged, and who was expecting a child. While they were there, the time came for her to deliver her child. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and wrapped him in bands of cloth, and laid him in a manger, because there was no place for them in the inn. In that region there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flock by night. Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and the glory of the Lord shone around them, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid, for see, I am bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. To you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, who is the Messiah, the Lord. This will be a sign for you. You will find a child wrapped in bands of cloth and lying in a manger." And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, "Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace among those whom he favors." When the angels had left them and gone into heaven, the shepherds said to one another, "Let us go now to Bethlehem, and see this thing that has taken place which the Lord has made known to us." So they went with haste, and found Mary and Joseph, and the child lying in the manger. When they saw this, they made known what had been told them about this child, and all who heard it were amazed at what the shepherds told them. But Mary treasured all these words, and pondered them in her heart. The shepherds returned, glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen, as it had been told them. The Gospel of Christ.
This is the story of the Holy Family. The Christ child. The mother, Mary. The father, Joseph. And here is the donkey that helped to carry Mary from Nazareth to Bethlehem. When somebody is having a baby, sometimes it's difficult to walk. So sometimes Mary would ride on the donkey, but sometimes it was uncomfortable on the donkey and she would get off and walk. Sometimes she walked, sometimes she rode on the donkey. The cow. There were many surprises that night, but the cow certainly got a very big surprise in the morning when she came to have her breakfast and found a baby in the place where her breakfast usually was. Then there were the shepherds. There were a lot of shepherds on the hill that night, but we're just going to have one to help tell the story. And two of his sheep. The shepherds were on the hill looking after their sheep when there was a very bright, blinding light in the sky, and they were so scared. I think I would have been too. But then there was a whole host of angels who started to sing, and they said, "Peace, peace to everybody on earth." And they weren't scared anymore, and they followed the bright light, and it took him to where the Christ child was. And then came the kings, who were also called the Magi. They were very smart people. They were so clever that people thought they were magic, and that's how they got the name Magi. That's where the name magic comes from. And they brought gifts for the baby of gold and frankincense and myrrh. But how did they get here? Well, they knew a lot about a lot of things, but they knew a great deal about the sky, and they had maps of the sky, and they followed the stars, and they watched them, and they learned about them, and they knew a lot. And there was one star that was different from the others, and it was moving around, and it was behaving in a very strange way. And they had a feeling that they were supposed to follow this star. And so they followed the star, and the star led them to Bethlehem and to the Christ child. The Christ child. He's reaching out his arms to give you a hug. And the Christ child grew into an adult. And the adult died on a cross. And that was really sad. But it was also really amazing in an Easter sort of a way. Because the Christ child was born into that time and place. Christ today is present in every time and place. And he's reaching out to give the whole world a hug. I wonder, which part of the Holy Family do you like the best? I wonder where you fit into this story. I wonder which person you can relate to the most. The baby, Jesus? The Mother Mary? The Father Joseph? The shepherd? The sheep? The donkey? The cow who had the big surprise? The Magi? Jesus, who is with us today in all times, in all places, reaching out to give the whole world a hug.
Infant holy, infant lowly, falls on his cattle stall. Oxen lowing, cattle lowing, Christ the Babe is Lord of all. So if our weeping
We believe in God, the creator of all things, the giver of life and breath. We believe in Jesus Christ, born Emmanuel, God with us, baptized and revealed the most beloved Son of God. He sought to heal humanity by taking our brokenness upon himself, suffering for us, dying for us, and being raised from the dead for our sake and for the sake of all the world. We believe that he will come again. We believe in the Holy Spirit, continually poured out, refreshing our lives, leading us into a new day, ever birthing the Church, the body of Christ in the world. The Spirit is our sole companion and counselor of truth, reminding us of the gift of faith, the ever-presence of God, and the promise of eternal life. Amen. In the tender mercy of our God, the dayspring from on high shall break upon us, to give light to those who dwell in darkness and in the shadow of death, and to guide our feet in the way of peace. Beloved, the peace of Christ be always with you.
To the phrase, God of love, please respond by saying, "Hear our prayer." As the radiance of your presence lights up the heavens, we pray for enlightenment for your church on behalf of the whole world. As heaven and earth rejoice, let us pray for the needs of those who weep, or watch, or wait this day. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, angels proclaimed the promise of peace. We pray for those who wrestle with turbulence and disaster, and we pray that God will strengthen all who work for peace and justice. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, you came to us as a child, cradled in straw and far from home. Open our hearts to the needs of the homeless and the hungry. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, shepherds and outcasts continued to ponder and share your good news. Give us grace to spread your gospel of joy and liberation. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, we rejoice at the coming of this time of recreation. Be with us as we shelter and give thanks for family and friends. Enrich our rejoicing and strengthen the bonds between us. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, Christians throughout the world are celebrating Christ's birth. Unite us in one family that we may share and shine with the light that enlightens the world. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, your living word continues to shed light on all who dwell in the valley of the shadow. Give strength and peace to all who suffer in body, mind, or spirit. God of love, hear our prayer. On this holy morning, heaven and earth embrace, and in a child you show us the gift of love. Fulfill your love in all who have gone before us in the faith, and may we, like them, remain faithful to the mystery of the Word made flesh, and live in your eternal light. God of love, hear our prayer. Hear these prayers we bring to you, and fulfill your promises in us. In the name of Jesus, your incarnate Word. Amen.
Lord,
May the Son of God, child of Mary, born in the stable at Bethlehem, be born again in us this day, that through us the world may know the wonder of God's mercy and the mystery of God's love, and the blessing of the God who has created you, the Christ who has befriended you, and the Spirit who has gifted you, be with you this Christmas day and always. Amen.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. While shepherds kept their watching o'er silent flocks by night, behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angel chorus that hailed our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lowly manger, the humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation that blessed Christmas morn.